Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Fleur. This is your evening yin and meditation, and this is Pip the cat, feeling very comfortable and hopefully not disturbing me today. So I advise having again some props ready, some maybe books or some pillows. I have a blanket here so that my body is supported and I'm sitting on some blocks, and then come into a comfortable seated position. So we just tune in where we're at right now. You can also do this lying down if you prefer. This is just for you, a little check-in where you find out what you're bringing to the practice. And let's begin. When you're ready, maybe take a lovely deep breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, you can open the mouth and just sigh it out, and just feel what that does to yourself. This beautiful sigh out, and then do it again, taking a breath in through the nose and exhaling. Just release the air gently and softly, and then one more time, inhaling, and again releasing the air through the mouth or any other way that feels good for you, and then closing your eyes when you're ready and have a little scan of yourself. A physical scan. You can start at the crown of the head, and just like a little light that is shining down from the crown of the head, like a ray of sunlight or like a sort of machine that scans you. Take a moment to move from part to part of your body, feeling your face, the eyes, the cheeks, the nose, the mouth, the jaw, and then keep moving down in your own time. And wherever your inward gaze is moving to, imagine that that area just gently arrives into space, arrives here with you. Keep moving down until you arrive where you are seated, where the hips are, where the legs are, and then take in the whole of your body and let the breath move all the way down into your belly. And just teasing the breath out so that the exhale becomes a little bit longer. And feeling that wave and wave follows of breath. The inhale follows the exhale, follows the inhale, with those little tiny pauses in the middle, in between. And these little pauses, imagine that they also can be teased out just gently, a little bit longer. Feeling that enjoyment of breathing. And then from here, setting an intention for your practice by bringing your hands to your heart center, if you like, lifting your heart to your hands. And when we set an intention, we give ourselves or our minds something to focus on throughout the practice. And if you don't have an intention, if you're not sure, you can also send out energy or love to someone else or something else. And I'm going to open with a mantra Om. Taking a breath in to chant. Breathing in afterwards and exhaling, releasing the hands down. Let's come to our first position, first yin position. So I I'm going to continue sitting on a little bit of height, so it could be a rolled up pillow or cushion. I'm using some yoga blocks. Should be quite comfortable, really quite wide, so I've got one block for each butt cheek, which is really quite nice and feels really grounding. And then I'm going to bring my soles of the feet together, and of course now a cat is in the way, so I'm going to go slightly sideways so you can see the pillow. So I'm going to bring my soles of the feet together and bring them a little bit further forward, so I have like a diamond shape in my legs. Now I have my blanket underneath my ankles because it's quite nice to have the ankles padded, and if you have a towel you can also wrap it over your ankles and underneath, so if you're tucking it under, it's also quite comfortable. And then give your hips a little wiggle maybe to see if you can just find a nice position. And if you have something like a bolster or a pillow, some people like, oops, don't worry, some people like to place this on their ankles and then rest their forehead on it. So for me this is a little bit high, but what I like is maybe bringing the elbows onto the bolster and then resting my forehead here on the hands. This is quite nice if you feel like your legs are coming up quite high. If you're quite open, you can of course just let yourself fold forward, or even if you're comfortable with just what is, maybe holding your ankles first of all, and then starting to soften down towards a curious looking cat. Now at one point you'll start to feel the first resistance, so what the body brings up to let you know this is maybe the start of your boundary. And I'd advise not going beyond that straight away, so exploring that place first of all and noticing how you can soften here. So letting maybe the chin soften towards the chest, and then checking in with your neck and shoulders. So you're not collapsing forwards, but you're finding a place that is comfortable to rest in and be still. Now for most of us, being still is quite a challenge because we twitch and sometimes the body suddenly comes up with little itches, or you want to shift, you're not sure if it's comfortable. So the art of finding this letting go and this letting be is a process. So gradually you will find that you can soften into the stillness more and more, with more and more ease. If you notice that you're getting distracted or slightly uncomfortable, see if you can still remain focusing on the breath and noticing what is exactly the uncomfortableness. And we're trying to find softness here, but also release, letting go. And let your breath just come calmly in and out of the body. So we're working here gently into an external rotation of the thighs, stretch of the lower back, and a slight massage for the abdominal muscles. So the digestive system through the forward fold. And we're going to stay here for just a few more moments, so about 2 minutes. That's longer than moments. So 2 minutes, we're going to stay here. So continue to breathe and notice your thoughts. Let yourself be guided by your breath. And maybe already you feel you softened a little bit more. Still just observing the space that you're creating.
Again, taking a gentle breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, sighing it out. And then walking your hands back up, hands on the floor. Slowly roll yourself back up to seated. Good. And then you can stretch your legs away from you, maybe hands behind you. And then give your legs maybe a little shake. Maybe stretch the chest up for a moment. Wiggle out the feet. Oh, just notice how you feel in the body before we move on to another pose. So the next pose is now going to be a different sensation in our hips. So it's going to be a bit deeper into the hips, and it's called square pose. So this pose in the beginning for me was absolute agony. But there are ways to set up, which I didn't know in the beginning. So I advise you not to go to the extreme, but just to work with something or somewhere where you feel really comfortable. Now, square pose, as the pose suggests, indicates that your legs are sort of square, which of course they will never really be. So I have props handy to help me with that. First of all, I'm sitting on my lovely cozy blanket, which is really nice, and the cat is sort of occupying it as well. And I have that underneath me because my ankles are quite sensitive, and I always feel like it doesn't really like the floor, or in this case the yoga mat. Now we're going to start with, I start with my left shin. I mirror you, so I'm just going to, with my left shin tucked in, and then your right shin in front, so that your shins are crossing right in the middle of your legs, and your knees are just behind your ankles or your heels. Now, if you're feeling already quite tight here and you automatically want to bring the knees further out so that the ankles are crossing, see if you can bring the knees in, and then look down and see if your shins are parallel to the front of your mat. Now again, if this is really quite already intense here in your hips, sit a little higher, so give yourself a little bit of height so your feet come further down. Let me just demonstrate. So if I come a little higher, then my feet will come further down and my knees are a little higher. And then you can have, I'll use the bolster, maybe some pillows just underneath your thighs on both sides so you feel comfortable here. And this rotation, this outward rotation isn't too intense. Now if you want a little bit more intensity, if you're feeling quite comfortable here, you can maybe try bringing in front of your left knee a pillow or book or roll of towel, and then place your ankle right in front so that you again feel supported here. This will increase this intensity here. Again, make sure your shins are parallel, or if it's too much, just bring the left leg slightly further back. So you're focusing more on this external rotation. And again, if you have knee issues, make sure that you pad this knee, the front knee, a little bit, or even from the thighs, so underneath the thighs. Now if this feels okay for you, you can either just rest your hands onto your knees, or you can see if you can walk your fingertips forwards. Again, increases the intensity. And just find again that first point of contact. So I'm now finding a quite soft point of contact here. And eventually I know I'll come forward, but sitting upright is absolutely fine. And then close your eyes and breathe in a way that is not huffing and puffing, not sort of pushing through this sensation, but is quite soothing and relaxing. And I'll give you again some stillness to be in this pose. And let's begin. You're not fighting this pose, you're just exploring the sensations. You're kind and compassionate here to your hips. And any thoughts of judgment, just let them gently go. They have no place right now. notice a bit of space happening, then really carefully try and enter the new space. Or just stay where you are. Three more full deep rounds of breath. And then slowly inhaling, if you like, a gentle breath out, softening a little deeper, and then releasing the pose. Make your way slowly out, coming back up if you are folding forwards. Good, and then with the help of your hands, just bring the knees together, lean a little bit back maybe, and stretch your legs out again, away from you. And again, just maybe rotate the ankles a bit, give them a little shake. Shake the legs out, bring the hands maybe behind you. Just lift the chest. And we're going to do one more forward fold, like this. So other way, other side. So this time, the left leg is going to be in front. Apologies. Again, make sure that you're supporting your thighs. If you feel the knees need a bit of support, something underneath your thighs or knees, like pillows, cushions. So you do want to feel the sensations at hip, but you also want to not feel any pressure here. Make it right for you, and maybe place again that pillow in front of your knee if you feel like you want to have a little bit more sensation. Find the right way, and then again, either resting the hands onto your knees or finding that little reach. And again, just find first of all that point of contact, and then closing your eyes to be in your body. And let's begin. And be again curious about this side. So not expecting it to be the same as the first side at all. But also being aware of where's your edge. Where is it interesting for you to stay without strain? Soft in the neck. And 3 more breaths here. And deep breath in. And exhale, releasing the breath. And then walking your hands back towards you. Nice. And releasing the legs again away from you. Give them a little shake, a little rotation, a little massage. Now I'm going to do that with you in the way now to move the cat for the next one. So the next one is going to be working into the front of the thighs. So we're going to sit in hero's pose. Let's see if I can find a way with the cat. And I really like hero's pose because it's quite, it can be quite a soothing and meditative pose, and it can be also a back bend. So from here, let's start by just see if you can sit on your knees. Now, if you have knee issues and you don't like sitting on your knees, and this is not comfortable for you, if you prefer, you can come to a Sphinx pose instead. So we're still working in the same sort of area. You would be lying on your belly, and then maybe have a wall behind you, or maybe your bed or sofa, and then as you lie on the belly, so elbows underneath you. I'm just going to try and do it with the cat in the way. And then you can bend your knees and rest them on the, on your sofa, on your chair, or against the wall. So this can be quite nice, as like a back bend as well, and might open the thighs as well. And then let's try to show you the pose I wanted to get into. So the pose is called hero's pose. We would sit either on our heels, or try to move the calves away from the thighs, so turning them outwards, and then see if you can sit between your heels. Now, if this is really quite low, so an inward rotation for the thighs, you can again place something underneath your hips, so you have a little bit of height. And the target area is sort of wanting to be into the front of the thighs. Good. Now, if you want to take it a little bit further, I have here my bolster, and you can place maybe some books or pillows behind you, and then place the bolster, or like a nice rolled up big pillow, behind you, like this, which I just about managed here to do. Good, and then bring that quite close to your lower back, and see if you can just bring the fingertips to the side, or again, if you have some more props, you might find it helpful to bring something next to you, so you can lean slightly back. Now, if you feel that's too much, you can just rest here, or again, if it feels nice, lean all the way back, maybe until you feel this support in the mid-back, and then check if it's okay to lean a little bit further. If you feel any sensation in the lower back, see if you want to tuck the tailbone just a little bit, so as if you're lifting the hip, and see if that helps you get lower. If not, don't force it. Again, place another pillow, more pillows behind your mid-back, and then now this would be too low for my head, so I would then need something else behind my head. Or it's sometimes quite nice to just bring the hands behind your head and open the elbows to the side. So now this feels quite comfortable for me, but if this in any way doesn't feel comfortable, just adjust, pause the video, make it right for you. So I'm going to lie back here, and then have my pillow, actually my block behind my head, and this is going to be the last pose. So arms to the side, or you can reach the arms over the head, or another little chest opener, and then close your eyes and arrive again in yourself. Feel the breath expand, the rib cage and the belly, and let the weight of the legs be heavy, but the area of your heart and chest be light. And remember, this is your practice, so if you need to move or change, and do so until you find the right position that is interesting and on the brink of what you feel is where you want to be today. So no pain, not too easy, just a little challenge, but not too much. Just so you can ease your way into this comfort. Into this comfort, not discomfort, into the comfort. 'Just another 10 deep breaths. Imagine you're counting them in your mind. So inhaling 1, exhaling 1, and keep going until you arrive at 10. Three more breaths here. And on the next exhale, again, you can open the mouth and gently sigh it out. If that feels good. And then bringing the arms, if they were over the head, to the side and down. Place your hands onto your feet if you were leaning back. And then press a little bit into your feet so you can draw the chin in. Wiggle your elbows underneath you and then maybe place one hand and the other on the floor to push yourself back up. And sometimes what feels nice is then coming into a little child pose. So maybe you just want to open the knees a little bit wider and then fold forward over a cat if you have one, or a little dog, or whatever you have, a pillow, and just let the spine again relax. Let the breath again be deep. And just before we come into the final resting pose, maybe you feel you want to stretch out the legs for a moment. So come into a downward dog, stretch the hips back and up. Let's take a little walk out through the hips, maybe a little wriggle, little stretch side to side. Good. Lift up the knees, up to the hips, come onto tiptoes. Nice lift up through the tailbone. And when you're ready, bring your knees down towards the floor. Good. And then make it really comfortable for you. So lie on your back. I'm going to stay seated because there's no place for me. I'm just demonstrating, he's demonstrating Shavasana here very well. So lie on your back, make it really comfortable for you. Maybe have a blanket over you, maybe something for your eyes. And if you like to have a quite long Shavasana after this, maybe 5 minutes or so, maybe set a timer, pause the video and then turn it back on. I'll shorten this a little bit, I'll just guide you a little bit into it. So as you make yourself really comfortable,
think of all your limbs becoming heavy, so that you don't have to move them anymore. They can just relax into the floor, and your whole weight is being embraced by the earth. Everything becomes soft. Your breath, your movements become still now. And you can rest assured that there's nothing else that you have to do right now than lie there and just observe and witness what is going on. And feeling safe in yourself and welcomed. And all that's moving is just your belly rising and your belly falling. And to get into a very deep meditation, you might like to think in your mind, counting down from 30 to 1. Thinking like 30, inhale, 39, exhale, 38, inhale, 37, exhale, and continue in your own rhythm. And if you get distracted, just begin again. There's no goal. Continue breathing. And the last 10 deep breaths. Counting from 10 to 0. And at the end of your counting, you'll find all the energy you need, all the focus for the rest of your day. So slowly taking that last deep breath in, and as you exhale, sigh it out. And then begin to wriggle your fingers and your toes. And then maybe stretching your arms over the head and give yourself this feeling of a beautiful arrow, lovely and energetically long. And you can hug your knees into your chest and give yourself a little squeeze and say well done to yourself. In your own time, you can rock yourself up and down the spine or roll yourself back up to seated. And take a little moment to find again your comfortable seat. Just doing the same. And then close the eyes again if they were open. Notice how your breath is now. And then when you're ready, bring the hands back to your heart center, lift the heart to the hands. Remind yourself of your intention. Send out that energy from your heart out into the world. And let's close with a mantra Om. Breathing in to chant. Namaste everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a lovely rest of the day. Drink some water, not too cold. Just replenish your liquids. And please, if you like, follow me on social media, Instagram, Fleur Pode, and here on YouTube, Fleur Pode and Pilates. And I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Now I can't move. Now I can't move because you're in the way. So confused. So nice for you. I love you, little bit. Look at your little face.